While I only began to paint during lockdown, this book coincides with the beginning of my hands-on interest in the visual arts. I had just completed a Saturday intensive workshop hosted by McGill University called How Art Thinks. The poems in the first section address aspects of art such as scale, space, light, perspective. The second section is a meditation on the world we humans invented. And I'm going to read a little bit from a journal entry I wrote trying to explain the book to myself. This world we invented began as a series of poems about Verdun, a Montreal borough I had recently moved to. Over time, I noticed my existential concerns creeping into the poems, the result of a mind becoming more aware of the inescapable lousiness of growing old, as Leighton eloquently put it. A mind haunted by death and all its terrifying implications. If a human life were 24 hours long, then I'd say this collection is the product of a mind around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, trying to locate God in the crosshairs, always bumping up against the same wall. If God exists, if he created the blueprint for our world, what went so terribly wrong with its execution? And if God doesn't exist, then clearly he is our own invention. He didn't create our world, we did. Accepting this, we must bear the responsibility that goes along with it. This is our own mess. The book mirrors our flawed world back to us. It dangles the question, not does God exist, but what sort of perfect God would create an imperfect reflection of himself? Space. Space is not neutral. It depends on who inhabits it and how. Here it's imbued with impulse. It breathes. It is wooded with dark creatures. Though it might just be me. It's a dimension I'd rather not think about. I enter anyway, being human. A residue of violence clings to the windowsill. You and your wife, why did you? And repeatedly, according to the news. The space is not neutral, nor is the one embracing the crib. The room vomited. It bled, peed, shat. It made gurgling baby sounds. It screamed its lungs out, day and night. The space shifted to intensive care. I enter because, in a way, I have to. Now it's a tangle of circuitry. It breathes mechanically, in, out, in, out. It is unresponsive to light. Painting it would be out of the question, utterly, even thinking it. But being human, I'd imagine a landscape, one long yellowy line. With my pencil, vigorously, I'd strike it through. And this is the last poem in that book, Watching You Do Tai Chi at Dawn. There's a burgeoning gap in the sky as the clouds part above you, in a distant realm where sand lice and the latrine stench of declining civilizations are virtually non-existent. And like me, you're here, but somehow you're not. What I admire is not you or the hulking freighter of what you know. What's awesome is your coexistence with the flea-sized minutiae of the galaxy. You, graceful as a gull, the perfectly stilled world in your gaze. It could be any day, but it's Friday. Tomorrow we return to the city. And so I study you as an artist scans the planes and curves of a partially lit stone. There's no great revelation. The earth doesn't shake or rumble with meaning as a rosy light settles over the beach. There's just one crested wave, and then another, and another.